Neil deGrasse Tyson talking. We're here with Steve Kirsch, and he's going to talk about the vaccine with Michael Bet David, who does a great podcast. I've been invited on it, and I haven't been able to make it, but we hopefully soon, fingers crossed. Here we go.
Anybody, if you want to get an abortion, get an abortion. If I want to get the vaccine, I get to choose. So you can't force. If I can't force you to get an abortion, you shouldn't be able to force me to get
because it's not about you. It's about people you interact with, and that's the social contract.
Aren't they vaccinated?
So what? Aren't the people I'm interacting with vaccinated? Why if they're vaccinated, why do they have to fear me if I'm unvaccinated?
Vaccines work. Everybody, Jimmy, everybody knows it's safe and effective, and it keeps you from dying.
So here is let me play this without stopping, and then we'll come back and make fun of them. Here we go.
Your own body.
If you want to get an abortion, get an abortion. If I want to get the vaccine, I get to choose. So you can't force. If I can't force you to get an abortion, you shouldn't be able to force me to get
because it's not about you. It's about people you interact with, and that's the social contract of public health.
We don't even know if the vaccine worked or not at the time.
Yes, that's what the trials are, dude. That's why these trials. Are you missing data out there?
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Are we saying only one type of scientists are right?
No, we're saying that the system in place,
the 16,000 that signed that.
No. The system in place to test vaccines. Yeah. There's an entire system that's in place. That with review boards and all of it.
Yeah.
How dare you question the system?
Yeah.
We've got a system. You can't say anything bad against the system. You're going to turn some of your brothers against the system.
Yeah. Yeah. And Neil has no numbers to back it up with any data whatsoever. There's no data on any of this stuff, Neil.
Listen to how he ends it. Here's how he ends it.
That's in place. Now what you can say is, I have a better idea than all these review boards and all these agencies and the CDC. I have a better idea. Here's what you should do. And that would have made everything better. Okay. You can
like early treatment.
Well, it's called the Great Barrington Declaration, fuckface.
Yeah, early treatment.
So there are a lot of people did have those ideas.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
But what I'm saying is, in a case where you can contaminate someone else, it's not about you. It's about the collective.
You're assuming
health.
You're assuming because somebody can take the vaccine, won't get COVID. Which, by the way, I don't need to play the clips for you to see it, where everybody said, "Hey, if you get it, you're not going to get. If you take the vaccine, you're not going to get a Rachel Maddow, Joe Biden. I can give you Fauci. I can give you fit." And you've seen these clips before. It's not like you've never seen it before.
Yeah, what happened?
They were wrong.
Hold on. The strain evolved.
So there he is spreading medical misinformation at the top of his lungs with lots of histrionics. So that's supposed to be a scientist who's talking about the system like that. That's not a scientific debate if you have to throw your arms around. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm an emotional pothead comedian. I'm not a scientist. So when he does that, he's wrong. And he's trying to bully and bluster. And that's exactly what he was doing. And he's wrong on every piece of the science he just said there. He's wrong. And why is it a pothead comedian knew he was wrong? I knew this a year and a half ago. He was wrong. It's a year and a half later. He still doesn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, so he's realized, the virus is mutated. Well, I think that means we need to go and redo the trials to recalculate the numbers to find out whether there's a benefit or not, because maybe I'm just killing myself to not save anyone. Ooh, that's not a societal benefit. And so you go to Neil and you say, "Hey, Neil, look, if I kill you right now, you're going to save 10 lives. Can I shoot you? Can I shoot you now, Neil?" It's how science works, right? It's community benefit. If I kill you right now, you're going to save 10 lives. Can we do that? Can I pull the trigger? And what do you think Neil would say on that one?
I was going to bet he would say no.
And then I'd say, no. But Neil,
but it's about the collective.
It's about societal benefit, Neil.
About the collective, Neil.
Collective, Neil. Neil should be saying, "Shoot me now. Come on."
That's right.
I mean,
it's about the collective. It's not about you, Neil. It's about saving other people.
On this.
So Anti-Grifter says, imagine watching a credentialed physicist flail his arms around when proposed a simple question. This is what went wrong the past 3 years, and appealed to authority instead of sound logic and reason.
Yeah, and data and facts.
That's
and,
right.
Risk-benefit calculations.
What-
Exactly.
What Brett Weinstein says is people don't understand how a famous astrophysicist like Neil deGrasse Tyson could be so wrong about COVID vaccines at this late date. As a COVID dissident, it doesn't surprise me at all. I feel for the guy. Huge sums were clearly spent to keep people like Neil deGrasse Tyson in the dark. Huge sums of money, he's saying. Now, I don't know if he's saying that Neil took money to push the vaccine, which a lot of celebrities are doing, like Michael Phelps and people like that are taking money to push the vaccine. It sounds crazy to me. He had all the, this is a question that I have. So he had access to exactly the same information as me. All he had to do is make the slightest effort before pretending to have authority on the matter. And he didn't. That's what kills me.
Yeah. This is why he won't debate me. This is why he hangs up the phone when I call him. This is why Neil will never debate me, because he doesn't want to be outed. That's the biggest fear.
So you emailed him for a debate. He didn't answer back. You texted him for a debate.
Yeah, I can show you. I can show you the.
So you called, and then you left him a voicemail. He didn't answer, and then you called him on the phone. He answers the phone.
Yeah, he picked up the phone. I was surprised.
And you say, "Hey,"
I would have thought he sent me to voicemail. He picked it up, and then he realized what he had just done. And he hung up the phone. Here's the. Here you can see the whole conversation with him. Oh, actually, let's see. Oh, look, he blocked me. You can see that he blocked me. Can you see this?
Yeah, I can't really tell.
Look, it changed from blue to green.
Blue to green. Does it
look? I don't know if you can read this, but
I thought I thought blue to green meant that if it's blue, you're on a cellular line. If it's green,
no, it's blue. He's got an iPhone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I was able to iMessage him, and then he blocked me. So now my messages came in as green because he blocked me.
Oh,
and the thing I wrote him. It says send a second message. I said, "Wow, you just hung up on me. That's not the best way to resolve important scientific questions, is it?" So
nice. So here is what problem is. Neil deGrasse Tyson, like many scientists, is indebted to his benefactors. His science is not science. It's political opinionated science. It's the way for all his science, including his disastrous, wrong-headed climate analysis, which makes less sense than his vax diatribe. Now, this is why the reason why I included this tweet is because I think what this COVID is doing to people and all the lies we've been told, and people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who everybody used to thought they could trust, and now we can't. It's making people question everything. I bet it's making some people like this person question climate change. I bet you that this amount of lying that has happened, I mean, after Russiagate and then after this, I bet you there's people, I bet you that it's making them question everything. What do you think?
Yeah, we should be. In fact, there's a guy... he's known as El Gato Malo. Do you know him? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
He writes the Substack. He's a little kitten and he can't capitalize, right? Mm-hmm. So we had a nice conversation today, and one of the topics where I wanted to find out what he thought about global warming, and he said that he's done a lot of work in that area, and I won't reveal the specifics, but he basically thinks that we're in a cold period right now, and we're coming out of it, and that the climate has actually been a lot warmer in the past than it is now in terms of the parts per million and the CO2, and of course CO2 is a greenhouse gas and it does warm the earth, but there's a question. He said, look, if you think global warming is a problem, you have to have three things. Is it coming from is it primarily man-made? Is man influencing the climate, and by how much? And what are the implications of that? And and I forget what exactly the three questions were, but they were well thought out. And he actually got $1 million contract to do this analysis on global warming, and came up with the turns out that the guy from MIT that was the one guy who was the skeptic that I used to think was kind of not with it. Do you know who I'm talking about? A famous MIT guy, famous MIT professor. He was the only guy at MIT who didn't believe in climate. He says he's the guy who's actually right about it. It turns out that climate science is not as easy as it looks. And so I asked him about, so what do you think of Jim Hansen? Because I always respected Jim Hansen. He said, no, he's got it wrong. And so it's a really interesting discussion. And so the one thing that this did for me is when it opened my eyes to questioning the vaccines and safety and the COVID vaccines and so forth, it's basically opened the door for me to be able to question my beliefs in really anything else that I believed in, including global warming, which, prior to this, if you had asked me about global warming, I would have said, hey, it's really important that we keep the emissions down. I believe the whole thing. And I saw the, Al Gore presentation and, whatnot. And I'm buying the whole thing hook, line, and sinker. But it's really, really important to hear the people on the other side and to give them a platform where you can hear the two sides debate. And, we've never seen that before, right? And Jimmy, have you seen a debate between, sort of the pro and the con side on global warming with people who really know their stuff? Because it's really quite amazing. This El Gato Malo guy, there are a lot of people who follow him, including me. He's a smart dude. And so the fact that he is saying, hey, not so fast, you should check this out. And I didn't take notes on our discussion, but I was definitely moved, in the same way that I was moved off of the vaccines are safe and effective. So I'd be careful on that one. I think that we need to make sure that we don't make the same mistake for other things. It's like fluoridated drinking water, right? We were all brought up to believe that fluoride in the drinking water is going to reduce cavities. And it turns out it's a really, really bad thing. And it's really, really hard for people to filter it out. You have to have a reverse osmosis filter. Pretty much. Some of these other filters do not work as well and get contaminated pretty quickly. But fluoride there is some evidence that if you rinse with fluoride, that you can reduce cavities. But it's really more dental hygiene, which is the big thing that caused cavities to be reduced. And so fluoride, if you drink it, there is no benefit to, lowering your cavities. So why are you putting it in the water? You should just use fluoride in a mouthwash. But we put it in the water and it seems like it's impossible to reverse. So these things that we take for granted as, these are good things, we should be going and using this as a lesson to go back and really make sure that we're hearing from parties who are experts on both sides of the argument before we make important decisions like this. And I wish politicians would do that, anytime they make a decision, is to really listen carefully. And what happens now is totally the opposite, Jimmy. When I try to go and I try to talk to Anna Eshoo, they won't return my phone call. All my emails are ignored. The staff ignores me. I can't even get a response from the scheduler. I point out, hey, there's this corruption happening at the CDC. People are dying. And it's like, hey, we don't care. We're not going to listen to you. Click, hang up. I mean, it is so bad. It's really important that people listen to the people on the other side and try to resolve it, because if they're legitimate people, they have a point of view, and let's make sure that you've listened to them and have worked through the issues. And we should be settling these issues as adults and talking about our differences and trying to resolve them through dialogue. Well, not censorship.
Here's what Carl Sagan had to say about this. Was exact topic.
Science is more than a body of knowledge. It's a way of thinking, a way of skeptically interrogating the universe with a fine understanding of human fallibility. If we are not able to ask skeptical questions, to interrogate those who tell us that something is true, to be skeptical of those in authority, then we're up for grabs for the next charlatan, political or religious, who comes ambling along. It's a thing that Jefferson lay great stress on. It wasn't enough, he said, to enshrine some rights in a constitution or a Bill of Rights. The people had to be educated, and they had to practice their skepticism and their education. Otherwise, we don't run the government. The government runs us.
So,
great clip. Great clip.
So
absolutely,
that's the kind of thing I'd like everybody, Neil deGrasse Tyson to listen to, my ex-friend Josh Olson to listen to, and the MIT professor you were talking about, who's questioning Richard Lindzen. My crack staff got that for me, so I was very proud of that.
Yeah. Hey, I got it. Yeah, same time.
So now I just can't wait to see how my haters are going to clip this video to make it look like I was questioning climate change instead of saying that the lies we've been told by COVID is going to make people question it. So anyway, but Steve Kirsch, I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you sticking your chin out and getting it kicked in. But, the world needs people like you. Thanks for having that kind of courage. And anything that you'd like to, where can people find you? What are you working on?
Yeah, they can find me on Substack, and they can follow me on Twitter. I got killed twice on Twitter. They actually, how many people do you know who got 2 lifetime bans on Twitter? They gave me a lifetime ban, and then they reincarnated me, and then they banned me a second time lifetime ban after doing that. I mean, I'm the only guy I know who's got 2 lifetime bans. So when they brought me back, it took a while to bring me back because I was double killed, right? So, Malone got back pretty quickly, and McCullough got back pretty quickly, and it took a while because they had to dig me out from the doubly killed. I mean, I was in a class by myself.
Have you asked Matt Taibbi to look into why you got double killed?
No, I haven't had a chance yet.
I bet there's a paper trail for sure.
Yeah. So, but I'm kind of hoping that my name shows up. I feel like I'm not making a difference if the CDC doesn't have me on a list somewhere.
Yes.
And when I email the CDC, I used to get bounces from people. I have hundreds of emails at the CDC, and I used to get bounces out of the office. And then I stopped getting bounces. These guys blocked my email to the CDC. And I heard that my Substack, stevekirsch.substack.com, if you go to it, this is from a CDC employee. They told me that if you go to my website, that it says that this website is unsafe. So I know I'm making a difference.
That's good. You are making a difference.
Yeah, but I'm still trying to get on their list. I want to be mentioned. If I'm not mentioned in one of their emails, you should kill this guy, you should, Facebook. I feel like I'm not doing enough. I haven't been doing my part. So I'm looking forward to being. What part
of the country do you live in?
I'm in California.
Okay.
California.
Okay.
Yeah. So people can follow me on Twitter, St. Kirsch on Twitter. I'm trying to get my paid for the blue check. Should have it soon. And stevekirsch.substack.com, stevekirsch.substack.com.
Fantastic. We'll put a link to your Substack in the description of the show. I appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I hope to talk to you soon again. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah, likewise.
Everybody, we're doing live stand-up comedy in Los Angeles in January and February in Los Angeles. And then we're going to Tempe, Palm Springs, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Nashville. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets and become a premium member while you're there.